Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. That's Mike, here to break down June 20th, Tuesday, 15-game slate. Do a little recap of Monday's action. Profitable day in the community. First and foremost, shout out to Dan the Man. Took down another GPP today, his second one in 3 days. Brought back over $700, so congrats to you, sir. A ton of other guys. Michael Townsend, he doubled his buy-in. One of our new subscribers, Bill, doubled his buy-in. We're talking about Loan, Stacks, R.A. Dickey, Corey Kluber, all those guys. We talked about all them in the pre-lock show. And everyone thought I was crazy for saying R.A. Dickey. I just got to flex those muscles a little bit real quick. Just show them off. Mike, I'm waiting for an apology for calling me crazy.
It's my turn. I just want to say, hey, welcome sports fans. Back to the Payoff Pitch. I think it was a very profitable day for the community and myself. Probably one of the best days I've had playing DFS baseball. Ended up top 25, one of the big GPPs on DraftKings. And, again, I've just noticed that I play really well on these Monday, Thursday slates, and decided to put a little bit more into it today. Just want to give out a congratulations to everybody that's cashing. It's awesome to see. So another big day. And, I definitely got to give credit where credit is due, Kyle. I was not behind you on R.A. Dickey today. I'm a man of my word, obviously.
No, I know. It's all fun and games. Me and Mike are going to start doing head-to-head contests now. We started a little...
We should. We definitely should. And I'm only going out and saying this because I know if something like this were to happen to you, I don't know that you would come on the show and admit it, man.
Oh, he's throwing shade.
Like how I switched that up on you?
Like I ain't came and give Mike credit before. Okay.
Okay.
But
we can seamlessly transition. R.A. Dickey was actually the second best scoring pitcher on DraftKings. Almost 30 points today, obviously behind Corey Kluber, who went out and had a complete game shutout with 11 Ks in Baltimore. Quite a performance from him. Right out of the top 5, it was Brad Peacock coming in at 3, Garrett Cole at 4, Clayton Kershaw at 5. As far as bats, man, 3 guys double-donged. It was Bellinger and Zunino and Reyes, but those top 2 guys, Zunino and Bellinger, man, are like locked in right now.
Yep.
It's crazy what's going on with those 2 guys at the plate, especially Bellinger, 21 years old, the quickest to... the most home runs in their first 50 games. We thought Gary Sanchez, what he did last year, was amazing. He broke the record in the first 50 games. Bellinger just broke his record today, actually.
Wow.
So, bright future for that man.
Yes, sir. I gotta give... Okay, so I gotta rant about this a little bit, because I'm not gonna sit here and say any stats. Alone put me on R.A. Dickey, right? So we launched a Vegas kind of informational video in the Phenom 2 days ago. If you go look on the Twitter, you'll see some of the people talking about it, right? It put people on Corey Kluber, R.A. Dickey, especially me. We talked about the Cleveland Indians stack, low owned. We talked about the Reds, low owned. We talked about... obviously the Dodgers, that was easy. I'm trying to remember what other games it called out. It called the over in the Dodgers game. I faded Kershaw on my late night GPPs because of that. It put us on the Marlins winning the game. And so not only did I bet on the Marlins, but you can stack them in DFS. Obviously, if you had Justin Bour, you're looking nice. The Braves as a team went off. Talked about the Pirates, stacking the Pirates, Mike. That worked. Game stacking Toronto and Texas. Had the over in that. So, I'm telling you, man, this tool works. I'm living and dying by it right now, and talking about, not only from a DFS standpoint, but betting, it's amazing. I just make single bets every night, and if I lose anything in DFS, I make it back in betting, hands down. And so I'm just following the money. It's really, really simple, but it's simple once you know what you're doing. And I made a video that, teaches you guys how to follow it. It's not your standard Vegas strategy. And so if you're interested in that, got to be a subscriber, but I promise you it's well worth it. Look at some of the testimonials of it.
Yeah, Kyle, I really think we got this process down, man. We have this video the night before. We talk about the pitchers we want to stack, pitchers we want to attack. We really kind of open up the conversation of the DFS slate. Mm-hmm. Then we go in, we bring our player pools to the video pre-lock that is strictly for members. We talk about the Vegas line movement, and then within that hour between the video and the slate lock, we focus on that line movement and we see last minute where things are happening, where the sharp money is going. And I think that entire process put together is something that is proven, for me at least, to be a winning process. And this is just the tip of it. This night before gets you your feet wet with the slate, and then we really kind of dive into player pools and the Vegas movement, right before lock. And I think it's shown to be a profitable strategy. And I think if you guys are watching this video and looking to take the next step with playing baseball DFS, definitely worth the free trial. Give it a shot. Watch the video. It's really well done. So props to Kyle on that. And it's awesome, man. It's awesome to see people cash in, including myself.
Yes, sir. So let's jump into tomorrow, man. We got obviously Cleveland, Baltimore. Neither of these two guys make our top 5 to stack. That's not to say that neither of them can't be attacked. Obviously, both teams are mad hot right now, Cleveland and Baltimore. So this could be game stack potential. But neither guy made that top 5 list that we had.
Yeah, 15 games, so we did have to narrow it down, and so are you. You're going to have to narrow it down tomorrow, especially if you're not playing a ton of lineups. So that's kind of where we're at with this. But, Vegas has this open at a 10.5 over-under, so there's definitely could be some bats to look at in this game. Obviously, Cleveland put up 12 runs today, so definitely no lockdown pitchers either in Camden Yards. So I think it's definitely could be a game to look at.
Worth noting, Josh Tomlin has done a really has really concentrated on trying to induce ground balls this year.
Trying to.
Yeah. So, Michael Pineda, one of the guys we're looking to stack tomorrow, gets a rematch with the Angels at home. Angels are definitely worse on the road. They're also, they do hit righties a little better, at least in terms of ISO, power numbers, but much worse on the road. I know it, which is ironic because it's a positive park shift for them, but I think Pineda's strikeout stuff is going to be nice tomorrow.
Yeah, you mentioned the Angels are worse on the road. Well, Pineda's home road splits are pretty staggering. He's 6-1 at home this year with 10 earned runs given up at home with 22 on the road. And from watching him, obviously, his batting average against is 190 at home and 321 on the road. So from watching him, I have a theory, man. If you look at all 6 of his road starts this year, he's given up a run in the first inning in every single one. This guy we know is a bit of a head case.
Yeah.
And the fact that
gets down early.
Not only that, but even if the Yankees put up runs in the first inning, which they're top 10 in the league in doing so, he sits in the dugout for 30 minutes after doing his warm up. Instead of getting in a rhythm, and kind of just taking the mound there in the top of the first.
Yeah.
I like him much better at home. Again, you mentioned the rematch. The Angels aren't the best team, especially against a slider, and that's his put-out pitch. So if his confidence is up and he's got that pitch working, I don't see it being. I see him being definitely a guy to pay up to tomorrow.
Absolutely. We got St. Louis, Philadelphia. Now, this is a positive shift for St. Louis. They actually play better on the road, and I like Mike Leake against this Philadelphia team that's pretty anemic right now. They don't do much of anything well. They do play better at home, for what it's worth, but they're pretty bad overall. So I'm definitely looking at some Mike Leake, who's put together actually a pretty nice season. 237 batting average against him on the year. He's got a respectable K rate, and in fact, he's actually Kane righties almost 24% of the time. It's the lefties that he struggles with, and there's quite a few righties in this lineup. So I think you can go out and have a respectable game. He's got good StatCast numbers, under 87 miles per hour exit velocity, only getting barreled up 5% of the time. With a Phillies team that I would say maybe Altier, Tommy Joseph, Cameron Rupp occasionally has power. Other than that, I mean, Franco's been bad this year. Saunders hasn't done anything. Kendrick, okay. Herrera, better versus lefties. So I think Mike Leake's in play.
Yeah, I think obviously when I look at Mike Leake, I see an elite ground ball pitcher. In his last 3 starts, has 38 ground balls. It's a hell of a lot of ground balls. So you couple that with facing a young team that does swing and miss, so giving him a positive K matchup, I think makes for a good play. He has kind of stumbled a bit in his last 3, but positive park shift. Definitely don't want to target him as a ground ball pitcher, and I think we always talk about ground ballers with some K upside, so I think he's in play tomorrow.
Yeah, and then to shift on the other side, Jeremy Hellickson. This guy throws his fastball 50% of the time. His second pitch is a curveball. He's really a fastball changeup guy. 70% of the time, those 2 pitches make up what he throws. The other, occasionally 10%, he throws a curveball. Again, with a couple other pitches. St. Louis hits the fastball pretty well, at least the top of the order. Matt Carpenter, Dexter Fowler, and Gallardo. Piscotty's average. But Hellickson throws it below average, so I think that's a positive matchup. His changeup is actually really, really bad. However, the Cardinals aren't exceptional at hitting it, so that could be a problem. But again, I think if you don't have your fastball working, your changeup's not going to do anything. So if they can connect on that fastball, I don't see it being an issue.
Right, yeah, and I mean, he obviously doesn't have an out pitch. Look at his K percentage. Fastball changeup is going to lead to a lot of home runs, especially in the major leagues. That's certainly what's happened to Hellickson this year. So definitely a reason to try and attack him. He's given up a home run in almost every start this season, if not multiple. And he's just been bad as late walking people. He's given up, let's see here.
He's just giving free runs away.
Over his last 9 starts, he's walked 23 people.
Yeah.
That's just not what you want to see out of a guy that hasn't even really proven himself in the majors yet. So I think St. Louis is always a stack that's hard to pinpoint, as far as who you want to play. But we talk about Leake being a good spot. I think St. Louis is a good prop to win tomorrow.
I'm with you. Now GPP play, for sure. High GPP play. I'm talking super GPP play. You guys are going to think I'm R.A. Dickey crazy saying this, but Amir Garrett. Tampa Bay struggles with lefties. That's not a secret at all. Their ISO's 50 points lower. Their average is over 40 points lower. They strike out almost 27% of the time versus lefties. They hit much less home runs. There's 2 guys that concern me a little bit, and it's Derek Norris and Corey Dickerson. Maybe Logan Morrison. He's done okay versus lefties. Not a high average, but some power numbers. So I know Garrett's been bad, so it's a matchup of bad versus bad. Which side's going to give? I don't know. I just GPP play, gut feeling. I think he can have a good game tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so too. Obviously, positive K matchup. This guy does tend to strike people out. Came away with 8 Ks in San Diego in his last start. I'll throw Steven Souza in that mix of people that do scare me a bit, just because that he can hit that slider.
He hasn't hit a home lefties. Run. He hasn't hit a home run in 86 plate appearances versus a lefty this year. That doesn't. I don't know. That's kind of staggering, but
absolutely
not one home run, a .093 ISO versus lefties this year. I don't.
Yeah, no, I'm not fighting you. I think he's a good play. I think he's definitely one of my favorite plays to pay down to tomorrow. But there's definitely some risk involved.
100%.
There's no doubt about that. This guy does give up bombs, and that's what Tampa Bay does, man. So I don't know. I could go either way, man. I think he could at his price, if he gives up 3 runs and strikes out 8, it's probably a good play.
Yeah, it's a super GPP play. I like it for what he's been able to do with some strikeouts. Hopefully he can get some of that back. But of course it is risky. He can still give up home runs to both sides of the plate. Washington, Miami. Not really looking to attack nor pitch either one of these guys. Volquez had a rough start last time in Oakland, but his previous 3 starts were fantastic. Obviously, one of them being that no-hitter versus Arizona. Miami stays hot. Gio crushes lefties, but I would say the majority of the power in this lineup comes from the right-handed bats. So that concerns me a little bit, and Gio has had a little bit of a home run problem. Fun fact, Mike, Gio has given up 3 home runs to lefties in the last 5 seasons. They have been 2 to Joey Votto and 1 to... Wow, the third guy's blanking on me. But anyways,
that is a fun fact, man.
That's crazy. So he does not give up home runs to lefties. But, again, Stanton, Ozuna, Real Muto are the guys that concern me against Gio.
He's been good this year, man. I think he's a sell-high candidate in season-long leagues. I don't think it's going to last. I mean, he does have his last start against Miami, he did pitch 6 shutout innings. But at 9-6 on DraftKings, it's not a price I'm willing to pay. I don't know that I want to stack really against Gio for what he's been doing. But I could see it working out.
Yeah.
See what Vegas thinks and coming, as the day goes on.
Josh says, "Good Lord, don't play lefties versus him." I'm serious. It's crazy, man.
It is nuts.
San Fran and Atlanta. So we're gonna target Matt Moore in this game. Dude's been absolutely ass on the road and versus lefties, which is ironic. He's a complete reverse splits guy. Not saying he's been good versus righties. He's just been much worse versus lefties, giving up 50% hard contact to lefties. Matt Adams, 100% in play. I like Enciarte leading off. I love some Dansby Swanson and Matt Kemp if they play. Tyler Flowers. So I think you can stack Atlanta tomorrow.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's a stack-worthy team just because, Matt Moore hasn't given up a ton of home runs. Yeah, I guess he has. He's not been good.
This year he
has. Yeah, this year he has. So, he also has been hit to death, and he walks a ton of guys. He's got a whip of 1.6, an ERA of 6. He's in a terrible park.
Nothing's in his favor.
It looks like Atlanta's a little bit better versus righties.
No, they have a higher ISO versus lefties and average versus lefties, and WOBA, actually.
Okay. So they're a little bit better versus lefties. So he's a lefty, so that makes even more sense.
And also, to add to that, they hit a home run per fly ball 5% more of the time versus lefties.
Yeah, so all the ratios kind of match up. Matt Moore has not played well. He had a good little stretch, but recently he's just been not good at all. Yeah, definitely trying to attack there. I'm not really wanting to pitch anybody in this ballpark.
Yeah.
Still.
I feel it. Except R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, I guess that would be the exception. I don't know. I feel like if I go this whole season without playing anybody in that ballpark, I think it's still a profitable strategy.
Absolutely. For what it's worth, the Giants are just that bad.
Yeah, probably that's what it is.
I'm not joking, man. They are so bad this year. I'm hoping ticket prices plummet so I can afford to go to some games.
What do the Giants are gonna do, man? I think they're gonna
We might have to blow it up and start building up again, dude. We do a really good job. Yeah, we have an okay farm, but let's start trading some of the older guys that teams will want. I think we should be sellers at the trade deadline. Let's get rid of Pence. I love Pence, but some team can use him. I think we keep Belt, keep Crawford, but blow up some of the other guys, man.
Yeah, I've heard Cueto's in talks.
I could see Cueto going. I love Cueto. Cueto's my favorite pitcher in the entire MLB. I love that guy, but business standpoint.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Milwaukee. Zach Davies, Chad Kuhl. Chad Kuhl's interesting. He's been much worse versus lefties. It's not even denying that, but he does have a little bit of K upside. Brewers strike out a ton. Doesn't make the list of our guys to pitch. However, Zach Davies does make the list of our guys to attack.
Yeah, I don't mind going after his Davies. He is a kind of a ground ball pitcher, which kind of does put me off a little bit. He's got double-digit ground balls in each of his last 5 starts. But Pittsburgh's been hot, man. McCutchen is on another level right now. Yeah. Really kind of igniting that team in a sense.
Bell bummed out today, but McCutcheon
Yeah.
obviously had a good game. I still
Hey,
like some of the guys in the top of the lineup. Polanco's down to 2,800 on FanDuel. So
he's been struggling. I think Bell's price is going to have to come down a little bit before I go after him. But yeah, I mean, that's the only concern I have with Davies is the ground ball numbers. But he has been a little bit worse at home, which makes sense considering the ballpark he pitches in. Pittsburgh's coming in a little bit hot, or is pretty hot. So
it's hot, yeah. I'm with you. San Diego, Chicago, we have Mike Montgomery and Wallace Chassin. Another huge split. Chassin is awful versus lefties. Definitely in consideration to stack against with some of the lefties on Chicago. Doesn't make the final list of the guys we want to stack against. And then Mike Montgomery could be a worthy play tomorrow versus the Padres. He was right outside for us. He was that number 6 guy that we were looking at. Oh, the stream just died.
you're cut.
I'ma go overboard. See if I can get this back online. See if I can't get this back. Alright.
You there?
Yeah.
We live?
We're still live. Hopefully in the video. It's back, it's just saying video output low, so we'll see if it holds up.
All right.
Alright, so Mike Montgomery.
Cubs, Padres.
Yeah, we were talking about Montgomery he made that right outside the list. He was that number 6 guy. Pitched well so far this year. Obviously, the one concern is longevity, right?
Yeah, he only made 1 start against the Mets. Pitched well. Obviously, Mets don't play well versus lefties, but neither do the Padres. Only $100 more than Garrett. I've been on the fence about this. I could see myself going either way. Just kind of depends on what happens tomorrow with lineups. The thing that really put me on him was his curveball numbers. That's his out pitch, and obviously you're looking at an out pitch with the Padres since they strike out a ton. And no one has a positive number against a curveball that he throws almost 30% of the time. So that's what kind of put me on him a bit.
That's fair.
So
yeah, I think I agree with you, man. It could be a toss-up between both those guys. Toronto, Texas had 12 runs scored today. 13 runs scored today.
That was a good game, man.
It was. I really, really like Francisco Liriano tomorrow. Texas struggles versus lefties. I don't think anybody will play him. Francisco Liriano has not given up a home run to a lefty yet this year. And we're looking at the power in this Texas lineup. Shin-Soo Choo, Nomar Mazara, Rougned Odor, who's been hot but sucks versus lefties. So the one guy that concerns me is, I guess, two guys. Really Mike Napoli, but Adrian Beltre, I guess. Other than that, not a lot. Maybe Robinson Chirinos plays tomorrow, but I love Liriano tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think he will be on people's radar just because of his price at $6,700 on DraftKings and his last start against Tampa. He struck out 9 and had a really nice game. What gives me pause a little bit is he hasn't had a good start on the road all year. All of his positive starts have come at home. But it's still early in the season. This guy's a veteran, so he's coming into Texas, which does strike out a lot more versus lefties because, most of their swing and miss guys, Odor, Gallo, Mazara, are all lefties. So
definitely.
This kind of makes sense,
We got Derek Holland and Irvin Santana. Santana's interesting. Obviously, he's having an amazing year. Had a rougher start last time. Going up against this Chicago team that's been hot. They put up some numbers in Toronto. I don't know that Santana's the guy I want to pitch tomorrow. And on the flip, man, something that's really interesting, Minnesota has been really, really bad versus lefties this year. They have a team.
Well, Santana's a righty.
No, I'm talking about with Derek Holland. Minnesota.
Oh, Minnesota. Okay.
Has a team ISO of 137 versus lefties this year. Home run per fly ball rate of under 8%.
So
something's got to give there. Derek Holland's bad. He's been really, really good versus lefties, but bad versus righties. I would say the majority of the power in this lineup is from the righties. You're looking at Dozier, Sano, the two guys that kill lefties, but after that, man, not a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think we both agree. It's only $200 less than Pineda tomorrow. 10-4 on DraftKings to pay for Irvin Santana. That's a pretty penny. He's the third highest priced guy behind Sale and Pineda. He has, in 2 starts for Chicago, granted it's been a while, I think they were both in April. He does have a complete game shutout versus them and hasn't given up a run in either of those starts. So he has shown that he can, put this lineup down. So that does,
I don't think I stack.
It is a head scratcher, but
yeah, as bad as Holland is, I don't know if I stack Minnesota tomorrow. So.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know that if I do that same, but I think I'd rather play Pineda over Santana, but it is still a tough call.
It's very fair. Real quick, where did Jason Hamill finish in pitcher scoring? Was he top 5 today or no?
He was not. He was number 7.
Okay. Had a good game.
He did. 7 innings, 4 Ks.
Yep. Telling you, for whatever reason.
He might have.
Him and Mike Fiers have seemingly found the fountain of goodness again, because
yeah, right.
They're not ass anymore.
He might have on FanDuel. I mean, he gave up 7 hits, so that kind of
better. And he was the 5th cheapest pitcher on FanDuel on the main slate. So.
Right. So it could have been a better value play there.
Chris Sale, are we gonna play him tomorrow? Kansas City's been hot. They hit lefties a little worse than righties. The power, Eric Hosmer, Moose. Obviously, they're 2 big guys. I guess Sal Perez is one of them, but they're 2 big guys. Struggle versus lefties. The whole Kansas City team on FanDuel is severely priced down. They're getting the Clayton Kershaw treatment. Sale hasn't been great.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have to be very great. He's going to have to be Kluber great today to really pay off his price. I still think you play him in this matchup. I even consider, depending on what the value is. Really, that's what. Like, I would have probably played more Kershaw in tournaments today if there was more value. There just really wasn't any on DraftKings that opened up, so I didn't do it in tournaments. But I mean, he's been good enough. I mean, in my opinion, to lock him in. I think. I mean, Kansas City. We talked about that road trip, but I mean, it was San Francisco and the Angels. Perez did get the night off tonight, so. I'm still leaning that Sale's a good play. I mean, look at their numbers versus the slider. It's pretty average. They're not very good or very bad versus slider. So
I agree with you. He's in our top pitchers. I think he has to be, but hopefully he turns it around tomorrow. Zach Greinke and Herman Marquez are interesting. Neither made the top 5 to attack nor the top 5 to pitch. But obviously it is a Coors slate. Arizona does struggle mightily on the road. But again, it is Coors, so something's got to give there as well. Be interesting to figure out where that goes. For what it's worth, Herman is below average on all of the pitches he throws, and the Diamondbacks are above average in all the pitches that he throws. So, again, something's got to give.
I think Greinke might be worth a second look because his price on DraftKings is $8,600. Man, he's been over 12 every start I can remember, or at least over 11. So $8,600 for Greinke tomorrow is worth a second look. His last start in Coors, for what it's worth, his out pitch is his slider, and for what it's worth, he's thrown it 28% of the time. And his last start in Coors, he threw it 40% of the time. So if you look at the Rockies' numbers versus that pitch, it was obviously part of the scouting report. And that they threw it more, I would imagine. So again, it's a GPP play. The forecast has the high tomorrow in Denver at like 94 degrees. But this is the first game of a series of two very high-powered offenses in Coors. So
for what it's worth, Rockies hit lefties quite a bit better than righties. Next, we got Francis Martez. That's a guy we're going to attack tomorrow. Risky play. I think it's a GPP play always when you're stacking Oakland, but they are at home. Didn't quite put up the run production tonight, but I do think that they can get after Martez. Mentioned that his AAA numbers this year have not been great. They kind of waited to call him up. Called up 2 or 3 guys before him. In his only start, he did well versus lefties, struggled versus righties. Again, extremely small sample size. I don't think you can really use that. But we know what Oakland does at home and versus righties. Both are better. So I think splits are in their favor.
Right, and what put me as maybe this probably isn't a good spot for Martez, I think people will be on him just because of his price and the matchup, because what he did his first start, and because of his pedigree. But what took me off of him is people were talking about how, his minor league numbers weren't great this year, but I think you also have to remember that the purpose of the minor leagues is to develop young players. Mm-hmm. And so they're having him pitch pitches that he's not good at pitching.
Yeah, because he's trying to develop.
Right, and I read somewhere that he really needs to develop a changeup. He's fastball, curveball, I think, or fastball slider right now without really throwing much of a changeup. So if you look at Oakland, I mean, that's kind of how you get them out. They're such a dead red hitting team. If you don't have a changeup to kind of throw off the speed a little bit, they're going to see the spin of a fastball and just kind of sit on it. I mean, they'll just kind of lay off the off-speed pitch if you're not going to feature a changeup at all. So from reading that he doesn't really have that great of a changeup against a team that really hits fastballs well, that made me kind of fade Martez and think about hitting against him.
Now this guy is another. It's crazy to say this, but I think attacking Jordan Zimmerman right now might be a GPP option. He's put together 4 straight quality starts.
I think it's 3, but yeah, he's been pitching well, man. So, I mean, we knew this was going to happen at some point. I mean,
yeah, he's never been this bad in his career. Now, it is obviously on a season standpoint, his pitches are all below average, and Seattle hits, I believe, his fastball and slider or changeup, one of the two. Let me get the
changeup.
Changeup. Okay. Yeah, his changeup is mad bad. And Seattle crushes changeups along with fastballs, and his fastball he throws 54% of the time. So if your fastball and changeup are bad, you really don't have anything to go to. Seems like he's putting it together a little bit, getting those quality starts. So again, that's why I say Seattle's a GPP team, and it is also in a pretty favorable pitcher's park. Unless you're Mike Zunino.
Yeah, I will say that in the only start he had against Seattle, he did give up 3 home runs, so I'm not going to hate you for trying to stack against him. But yeah, it does give me a little bit of pause knowing what he's done in his career and the fact that he's put 3 quality starts together against quality teams too, Arizona, Boston, and the White Sox. So
yeah, and we talked about how hot the White Sox were too. So, and then finally, Robert Gsellman, sorry. This dude also does not have a good pitch arsenal whatsoever. Let me pull that up for you. He throws. Hold on, I have it. There it is. It's
the kitchen sink.
Dude, trying to find all these with all this pitch stats. All right, there we go. He throws a fastball 67% of the time, well below average. His other 2 pitches primarily are slider, also below average, and curveball, even more below average. The Dodgers, as a team, do really well versus sliders. Average versus fastball, but if his fastball's bad, and then average on curveballs. So I think the Dodgers could be an interesting stack again tomorrow. They're hot, one of the best teams in the league over the last week.
Yeah, I'm with you. He does. I think it's he's got a couple variations of that fastball, but I mean nothing's really good. So
yeah.
I mean, he's been in and out of the bullpen for a reason. They've been trying to get people to come up and take his spot in the rotation. They've just been touring him around. Yeah, exactly. And so, not only that, but you have his up and down. He's just been up and down. I mean, he has had some good performances this season, which it's like one of those things that's just enough to just piss Mets fans off, because it's like, just when we thought like you're going to go to the bullpen, maybe, and they try to develop you into a closer since he has some velocity, he goes out and has a good start, gives them reason to stick around. But the Dodgers, we saw what they did today. They've just seemingly played really well at home this season. I don't have the numbers to back that up, but
I do. 192 ISO, 257 average, 336 WOBA, home run per fly ball rate of almost 17%. So
yeah, and they're always much better against righties as well. So
yep. For what it's worth,
definitely about it.
You mentioned pissing Mets fans off. I think another thing that probably pisses Mets fans off is they are now third in the division behind the Braves and tied with the Marlins.
Yeah. I mean, they've historically lived and died by how they play in their division, and this season they've really played very bad against their division opponents. So,
shout out to Michael Cruz.
You're not going to win.
He bet me $150 on between Nats and Mets who wins the division, and we have $30 on every series with a $10 kicker if it's a sweep.
Wow.
So I'm kicking his ass.
That's an easy one. That was an easy one. Easy money.
I tried to give him a buyout at $250. He won't take it. He thinks that he can minimize his losses by hopefully winning some late season series.
By the way, just another note. Obviously, it's not in this game, but Derek Fisher got sent down after his 4 games in the majors, or 5 games in the majors. Hit another home run today. So props to the Astros, man. I mean, Josh Reddick comes back from his concussion. Talk about showcasing one of your players. Talking about, I don't know. I mean, they don't really have room for him. He seems like an obvious blue chip to try and shop around for some pitching depth.
Yeah.
For trying to make so everything kind of worked out well with that 5-game call-up, man, for the Astros.
Absolutely. So just to recap, the 5 pitchers that we are looking to play: Michael Pineda, Mike Leake, Mike and Mike, Amir Garrett, Chris Sale, and Francisco Liriano. We're going to attack Matt Moore, Jeremy Hellickson, Zach Davies, Francis Martez, and Robert Dezelman.
Yep, that's it, man. I think that the guys were on the fence about it. Like, if you wanted to throw, I think I talked about Greinke a bit, and then Montgomery, and then we talked about maybe attacking Zimmerman.
Yep.
It's kind of a fringe guys. I mean, again, a big 15-game slate, so I encourage you to really dive in, spread some ownership around. If you're not playing multiple lineups, I definitely recommend scaling it back your buy-in.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's kind of
our profitable Tuesday.
All right. Yeah, kind of our intro to Tuesday, so we can all be profitable once again.
Yeah. If you guys are a subscriber, make sure to tune in to the pre-lock show. We'll have that tomorrow around the same time, 2 o'clock Pacific time, Best Coast time, however you want to call it. Also, look out for our golf video for this week. We will be recording that tomorrow.
Yep.
So a lot of good things coming out. Let's keep the golf train rolling. I know we had some big winners last week. Let's keep that going. Of course, if you guys are interested in subscribing, check that link down below. You'll get an invite into our River group after that. Please make sure to check the email that you have linked up to PayPal. That is where the email goes. So if you're not going to get in if you don't check that email. But appreciate you guys tuning in to the YouTube show, watching, supporting us. Of course, if you want to listen on the go, we do have an iTunes podcast. Same show, just synced over to iTunes. That link is in the description as well. Subscribe there. You'll get the notification every time that drops, usually about an hour after the show stops.
Yep, Reading the Green tomorrow. Also, it is the first day of summer, so happy summer, guys. Hopefully it's one we make lots of money.
Well, it feels like it's been summer here. It's like 106 degrees right now, and it's, 10 o'clock at night? 11 o'clock?
Well, now it's official.
Yeah.
Officially summer.
Shit, man. I'm ready for it to be officially winter.
False.
I know you guys struggle with winter. Our winters are like 70, no, like 50 degrees. I'm like, all right, it's cool.
Yeah, I miss it, man.
So, all right, guys, we'll have a wonderful night or morning, depending on when you're listening. Make it a profitable Tuesday. 15-game slate. Play smart. Want to hear those money stories tomorrow.
See you guys.